battle is the light この定めを捨てを設置 What is going on, fellow YouTubers? Shadow Gamer AX coming at you with another top 10 video for you guys today. So I figured since there have been kind of a lot of delays within the past few weeks, especially with the new season of anime rolling around in spring 2020, I figured I'd give my little list for the top 10 anime you probably didn't know existed. And this is an old list that I've probably put on my radar for quite a while now, and I figured I'd recommend a couple anime that you might have had on your radar but never really checked out. You know, these shows may be a little old for some new viewers trying to get into anime, so you know, to each his own, I suppose. With that being said and out of the way, let us begin. At the number 10 spot, we have Moldiver. Moldiver, my bad, Moldiver. Moldiver is a funny, wacky show from the early 90s. I believe the TV series started in 1993, a lucky year I was born, actually. But what really amazes me with this show is how old it is and still holds up. Now, keep in mind that the episodes for this show is actually 6. Well, yes, it has 6 episodes. I think you can think of it as a little mini movie that you can watch. Well, yes, there are shorter shows out there with shorter episodes, as in an OVA, if you will. So the story of Moldiver takes place in Japan of the year 2045, which I don't guarantee you guys, we're not that far off, like 20-something years, 25 more years to go. Still don't have my flying car, thank you. But that's neither here nor there, I suppose. And the main character's focus is towards Mirai or Zora, living in, Japan. With her hobbies, shopping, modeling, and one would never expect her big brother, Hiroshi, to be a brilliant inventor for ZIC, a major technological corporation. So basically he builds like a suit of armor, kind of like what your run-of-the-mill Iron Man stuff. But basically, her sister gets a hold of it and basically mods it with her style magazines and stuff, and then it makes it look like girly and shit. So what he was building was like a suit of armor so he could play hero, basically. It is very, very intriguing. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed it to a great extent back then, and I still do. I still come back there to watch it every now and then because, well, it's something to do, especially in the coronavirus where everybody's cooped up in their own damn house, so, Dude! Can we add that on YouTube? Stu! My balls are itchy! It's actually quite good if you give it a watch. And yes, I'm well aware that OVAs are not that really popular in the mainstream. I guess you can say they're extra episodes within series if you actually want to go technical or info kind of thing about it. But at the number 9 spot, we have Ride Back. Now this is a show that really makes you think. It's a show that really just goes all out when it comes to drama. On the scale of 1 to 10, I pick 10. Now the reason why I say that is because the whole story is based on dark drama. Now this is just flat out amazing when it comes to that, because it's an anime that makes you feel, and most importantly, it's an anime that makes you really think on your toes. And you really feel for the character as the series progresses, which I really like to a great extent. Number 8 spot, we have a good classic called Angelic Layer. This was an anime made in the early 2000s, and it still goes on as the most unnoticed show within that time frame. I would say mainly because it doesn't have like a good following, or just the fact that nobody knows about it or even talks about it. But I'm saying it's a great show just because of the story, man. The story, the acting is so damn on point, and the jokes that Mihara does within the show is very, very well received and put together. I love the show. I love the show's direction. I'll tell you what, this anime really deserves a separate video on its own talking about this show. At the number 7 spot, we have Say I Love You. Say I Love You has a wonderful story put together within it. That's what I really love about the series. It just takes the slice of life, romance, drama, and it puts together a good piece of a story. What's really good about this anime is the plot really does nail it on home with what the message is. Now, if you recall, and if you see my other videos on how I view anime and how I view most TV shows and movies, I would say that it's because of the hidden message. That's what I look for in each and every anime, TV show, or movie. What appealed to me in Say I Love You was you have the main character is like a shut-in. She doesn't really want to talk to people. She believes that everybody's out to get her. I really like about the anime is that it tells her her backstory from episode 1. And throughout the series, when you watch it, you see her episode per episode, little by little, opening up to others. And it's not just the main character and the sub-character. It's also the side characters that have a good background and good stories, character development as well. And that is something that really appeals to me when I see a new show or I watch a series. When companies take their time and smooth out the kinks in the characters and their backstory and the character development, you're going to have a good success on your hands. That's how it goes in the anime industry. There's a lot of life lessons within this show, and I can pretty much name them all if I wanted to. But what would be the point, you know? I want to give you guys some content to watch, so watch it for yourself. See what you like, what you think of it. Number 6, we have Figure 17. Now this is an anime that is in sci-fi part of the section. And you may have noticed that I've done a video all on its own on Throwback Wednesday Season 2. If you guys want to check that out, feel free to. Figure 17 is an anime from the early 2000s as well. From what I remember, I think the runtime is about like close to 40 something minutes. So you're getting a lot longer of a good story with each episode, and the length of the episodes is 13 episodes per episode. So you're gonna get your hands full with this one. 35-40 minutes of runtime, and it's also not just the runtime that really is interesting to me, but rather just the story in general is very well put together, I gotta say. And if you are interested in the story and plot and you just want to see what the show is about, link is in the description for my Throwback Wednesday episode. I will link that in the description down below. At the number 5 spot, we have Kotara-san, or in other words, The Troubled Life of Miss Kotara-san. Now this is an anime that I feel like this show kind of goes under people's radars. This is a show that kind of just isn't notable, but it's well put together and thought out. Like, you have no idea, and I've praised this show on many freaking top 10s, and I recommend it highly. And I also have my own theory on why people don't really notice these types of shows is because of what they see with their eyes. And the reason why I say that is because of the plot. You have this main character, Kotara-san, who basically reads minds, and throughout the series, most of the time she's reading Manabe-kun's thoughts, and half of them are like lewd scenario scenes where he pictures in his head, and it just freaking makes Kota blush so freaking hard, and gets embarrassed, or stuff like that, and it's kind of cute in a way. But a great example of this is on Keijo. People, when they watch a bunch of series, they just make it out to be this, oh my god, this is so lewd. But you don't really pay attention to the plot. You're just looking at the sport at hand. You're not paying attention to the plot. And that's probably why people don't really notice any of the anime and what it's actually about, because they just look at the boobs and butt thing. And some series requires you to watch it all 12 episodes, all the way through. And if you're not willing to do that, well, that's on you. It just pisses me off when people try to judge a show based on 3 episodes when they haven't really watched the series or even had the slightest clue what it's about. Oh, it's about boobs and butts. That's not what keijo is. Keijo is a sport. It follows athletes on their journey to make it to the pros. If you were game sappy and if you were actually paying attention, you'd know that. But I digress. I kind of had gone on a little tangent there. But Kotaro-san is a good show just because of the story. Like, it's really great when you give it a shot, if you decide to give it a shot, and I highly recommend it. Number 4 spot, we have Kanamimo, if I'm saying that correctly. Kanamimo is a slice of life kind of anime. Now, I'm going to read you the plot for just to give you guys a good gist of what this show is about. It's kind of difficult for me to put it into words, so here we go. Kind of takes you back to Throwback Wednesday. Story centers around Kana Nakamichi, a middle school girl who had already lost her parents and just recently lost her remaining relative, her grandmother. As a result, she ended up living and working at a newspaper delivery office everyone else is living at. The office are all charming, assertive bisho. Manga and anime follows Kana's daily life in a fast-paced yet joyous environment. Gotta say, if you give this one a shot, you're gonna be laughing a lot. This has a lot of slice of life, has a lot of drama, and has a lot of comedy within it as well. So feel free to check this one out, guys. You're gonna have fun with this one. And for those of you that were expecting a dub for this one, there is none. Thank you. And if we do get a dub, I hope they don't change dialogue, because that's gonna be fucking annoying as hell. Sitting comfortably at the number 3 spot, Letters from the Departed. This is an anime that takes a supernatural approach rather than comedy and slice of life. But that's not what makes this show so good. It also consists of multiple different story arcs, each one different than the last, and some of them have connections to them. Towards the end, you'll have a chunk of story and background character development for your main character throughout the series. And once you start watching this series and this anime, it's gonna be hard not to finish, dude. I'm telling you right now, the story is that good, and I'd recommend it. Think of this show as a mail postal service for people that have passed on, to deliver messages from somebody who's passed on to heaven or whatever. I just love the creativity that was put into this show. Sitting comfortably at number 2 is Kekko Kamen. Even though this anime had 4 episodes and 25 minutes of runtime, this anime is very fun to watch. And I'm not just talking about the lady parts. Parts. This anime was released on 1974 and 78. It didn't get an anime adaptation until 1991. I believe this series also had a movie in Japan somewhere around 93, and it was a live adaptation too, but good luck finding any info on those. If you want to learn more about this show, I'll leave a link in the description down below so you can. I don't think YouTube would let me even say anything about the plot because, well, you know. Finally, at the number 1 spot is none other than DNA 2. What's DNA 2, you ask? Well, I'll tell you. Now keep in mind, I'm only going to say this once, so perk up your ears. Shh, come here, listen to Uncle Shadow. Junta is a high school student with an unusual problem. Whenever he becomes sexually aroused by a woman, his female allergies start to kick in, causing the poor boy to throw up. Needless to say, he's a complete failure with women, with no hope in sight. Then one fateful day he was confronted by an attractive girl in strange clothing, who claims that she's to be from the future. Long story short, she kind of shoots him with a DNA gun, and turns him accidentally into the Mega Playboy. I just found this show so amusing and so entertaining to me. That's just how I look at it. That's kind of an interesting point of view, but the plot is very strange. But it's actually fun nonetheless. Even though the show is very, very old, it still holds up to this day. And I believe the amount of episodes are 12. I also believe that the OVA had about like 3 episodes, 30 minutes per episode per runtime. So you're going to get your fill either way. But guys, that is my list, and I'm sticking to it. Feel free to let me know your list in the comments down below. And if you have any other recommendations for me to try, feel free to hit me up on the comments down below. And if you are new to the channel, feel free to hit the subscribe button. Turn on the bell notification, that way you never miss a video and you'll be notified if I upload a video and when I upload a video. Feel free to check out my past videos as well. I have playlists that I put together that you should be able to find from A to Z, so it should be relatively easy. And if you are a returning subscriber, please allow me to welcome you back to the channel. And if you find yourself unsubscribed from the channel, make sure you sub back, because I know YouTube likes to pull stupid shit like this by unsubscribing people from my channel, your channel, and everybody else's channel. Could be your channels next. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for hearing me out. Thank you so much for letting me entertain you guys for the past 17 minutes. It's a little longer than I hoped it would be, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. I'll see you guys in the next video.